Hey everybody, welcome, welcome to Hidden Horror. Thank you for spending this time with me. I appreciate that. Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome to Hidden Horror. How are you guys doing today? How's your day going? I'm having a great day. Today I'm bringing you an update on the Negasi Zuberi case. If you can recall, Mr. Zuberi allegedly kidnapped two different women, two different instances. And the first woman, she was able to get away. He actually dropped her off. But the second woman, he had by that time built a cinder block cell in a rental property where him and his family lived. And inside the garage, it was a nightmare. It was a cinder block cell. He planned to uh, kidnap, abduct, and hold women in that cell, and he did that. The first woman that we know of that got away, he kidnapped her, brought her to his home, which was in a different state. He drove hours and he put her in there. And when he left, she was able to get away, to get out, to break out of that cinder block cell. So he went to court. He fought it. He wanted to represent himself, and he didn't really do a good job, and he was convicted. And now he has been sentenced. He received his sentencing for the two kidnappings, and he has two consecutive life sentences plus 55 years. Um, let's talk about it. Let's get into it. The article is coming from kdrv.com. It's titled Negasi Zuberi sentenced to consecutive life sentences for kidnapping. It's by Tim Quidamo, and it's dated and then updated to January 17, 2025. So let's talk about it. Negasi Zuberi has been sentenced to consecutive life sentences for 2 counts of kidnapping plus 55 consecutive years for transportation, quotations 10 years, 2 counts of unlawful possession of a firearm and ammunition, 15 years each. 15 years each for those weapons and ammunition, and 1 count of unlawful possession of ammunition. That's an additional 15 years. While representing himself in court today, he told Chief United States District Judge Michael J. McShane he plans to appeal. Judge McShane said he will appoint an attorney to Zuberi to file that appeal, although Zuberi insisted he would represent himself. So he's trying to represent himself again. Now, if you recall, I've showed you all kind of pictures of the cinder block cell, individual blocks that they now have provided documentation to show he is on camera, he's on film. They have still pictures of him purchasing the individual cinder block cells that he allegedly used to build the cinder block wall, an enclosure, if you will, with a security door to, in this instance, he abducted, he kidnapped this woman in another state, brought him to where he lived, put her in the cinder block cell, and she was able to break out, okay, and escape. But this was before she was assaulted. She was forced to do acts, okay? Um, so that is where the charges are arising from, okay? Let's continue. This is a developing story, and Newswatch 12 is in the courtroom right now. Newswatch 12 will update this article as more information comes out. So here's the article. Negasi Zuberi is set to appear in federal court at 1 p.m. on Friday in Medford. Zubari, who is also known as Justin Hike and has signed recent court documents with the name Sakima Zubari, recently opted to represent himself for tomorrow's sentencing. So, just a little background. Um, Throughout the case, there were various alias names that Mr. Zubari was using. It was also found that he may have appeared on a court television show. There's pictures of him on there, video of him on there. And overall, when a person is using different identities, I know for law enforcement, they were concerned because he lived in various states throughout the United States that this may have happened before. That a person does not just build themselves up in one or two incidents, that this could have been something that happened in various states that he lived in prior. And they were concerned and they wanted the public to contact them, provide them with tips if he had lived in a city and you weren't a victim, okay? So this is a very serious case, even though he has these various aliases, Sakima, Negasi, Justin, whatever. They're really going to have to get his fingerprints and DNA to really identify who this person is, okay? Because he has changed his identity multiple times, okay? And that's to go under the radar. So people, when they background check you for housing, for example, this doesn't come back. What is his prior record, okay? On January 8th, prosecutors from the United States Attorney's Office for Oregon filed a sentencing memorandum outlining why they believe Zubari should be sentenced to life in prison for both counts of kidnapping. And the reason that they're recommending this is because they feel, and I also feel, he really reminds me of Ted Bundy, but I feel he's a threat. He's a danger to women, danger to anybody that may be vulnerable. Okay. Um, in one of the instances, he was at a bar where he abducted the first woman, and then the second kidnapping victim that he put in a cinder block, he tried to pick her up and have an encounter with her. And that is how that started. And he chose to bring her back to his home state, to his primary residence. Okay. And his intention was to hold her in this cinder block cell, allegedly. Okay. In the memorandum, prosecutors wrote, Mr. Zubari crimes show a disturbing and remarkable degree of planning and preparation combined with violence and assault. In October of 2024, Zubari was found guilty of 7 criminal counts related to kidnapping and assaulting 2 women, as well as unlawfully possessing weapons and ammunition. Before Zubari elected to represent himself for his upcoming sentencing, Newswatch 12 spoke to his defense attorney, Michael Berthoff. On October 21st, 2024, the Medford-based lawyer told Newswatch 12 that Zubari planned to appeal his conviction. He has nothing else to do but appeal this conviction. Try to go in front of the court again on some type of technicality, maybe ineffective counsel. I don't know. But he's going to appeal it because he has these life sentences for these kidnapping charges. I feel like the victims' stories were inconsistent, Berthoff said. Their stories didn't match up to what they were claiming and didn't match up to the physical evidence. I'm not going to talk about the first incident at the bar. I'm going to focus more on the second victim and state that She was very clear about what happened to her. They were able to provide documents, video of him buying the cinder block. The cinder block still was in the garage. When the second victim escaped, she flagged someone down to get help and she returned. She brought them back to the property. So it is clear to me. But let's continue on. I mean, that is his job to support his client and believe in his innocence, even if he's not innocent. One moment. The document is getting stuck. So I just want to try something. Okay, let's see. It's unclear if Zuberi still plans to appeal now that he represents himself. Newswatch 12 has also reported on the 31-year-old's multiple attempts to escape Jackson County Jail throughout the ongoing legal process. So, in a prior video, I did report Mr. Zuberi's alleged attempt to escape the county jail. They could have charged him with that, but I believe they wanted to focus on these larger charges that had more weight and would give him more of a sentence and not those attempted escapes, allegedly. Okay. This is a developing story, and Newswatch 12 will update this article with new information as it, becomes available. So they have a short video. It's about 2 minutes long, and I want to share that with you, just going over the sentencing. So if you will allow me, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, let's enlarge this. And it's under 2 minutes. This video is by Newswatch 12. Is titled Negasi Zuberi receives 2 life sentences plus 55 years for kidnapping, transportation, weapons, and it was posted January 17th, 2025. Let's get started.
Thank you. Klamath Falls man is sentenced to life in prison on multiple counts of kidnapping and weapons charges. Tim Quidadamo was in the Medford Federal Courthouse this afternoon, where Negasi Zuberi represented himself before the judge.
Negasi Zuberi was back in federal court in Medford today. The judge sentencing him to 2 consecutive life sentences for 2 counts of kidnapping, as well as 55 total years to be served consecutively for counts of transportation and possession of weapons and ammunition. After being ushered into federal court by 4 U.S. Marshals, Negasi Zuberi sat before the court for sentencing. Zuberi had filed several motions that were addressed first, including motions to declare a mistrial, continue his sentencing, and vacate the verdict from his October conviction. All of those denied. His first kidnapping victim then made a statement to the court, calling Zuberi merciless and saying he took her ability to feel safe around people that she's unfamiliar with. Prosecutors then pointed at the evidence of Zuberi's written Operation Takeover plan and target list, saying Zuberi is a serial predator who should never be allowed to walk the streets. Zuberi, representing himself for the first time in this case, objected twice during sentencing, claiming the prosecutors and victim were lying. Before receiving the maximum sentences for 2 counts of kidnapping, 1 count of transportation, and 3 counts of weapons and ammunition possession, Zuberi told the court he should not be sentenced to life in prison because he did not take a life and his 2 sons need their father. For more information on Zuberi's case, head to our website, kdrv.com. From federal court in Medford, I'm Tim Quidadamo.
Okay, so I wanted to show you that video so you can see him, how he currently looks. Let's be clear. He's a nice looking, attractive young man, right? I think he's about 30 years old, and he really reminds me of Ted Bundy. I could see charm. I could see him looking attractive enough where someone would maybe not feel like, oh, I'm fearful, or, he looks unassuming, right? He looks youthful. He looks that he could blend in easily into the community. And he had a family. He said right there, he has two sons. So why did you do it? Why did you do this terrible thing? Why are you harming women? Why are you kidnapping women? At the time, you lived with a woman. This is what makes it diabolical. When Ted Bundy was also committing assaults, he had women in his life. So I just want to make sure that we're never going to underestimate people or make assumptions about people because of how they look, how attractive they are. Why would this person not be able to go out and just date a woman, pick up a woman, have conversations, build a relationship, even though he was already in one with his child's mother, and lived with her at the home. This what should demonstrate to you how far gone these people are in their mind. Their mindset is not normal. It's not healthy. It's obsessive. If someone can focus with the intent on storing somebody, tucking them away, keeping them hostage, and they go through the effort, spend their money and time building a structure to keep someone captive, that should let you know right there how mentally disturbed they are. And he wants to represent himself, but I believe he wants to represent himself similar to Ted Bundy because it gives him more access so he can do his legal work. And maybe he feels he can just walk out of the courtroom. He can sneak away, he can get away, can ask to make a phone call, ask to use a computer, bring up something that he needs, distract the court. And maybe people will just not pay attention to him and he will just walk out of the door dressed in normal clothes. These people are very, very dangerous and diabolical. So I wanted to bring you that update. He was found guilty in October of 2024. And now he has been sentenced. His sentencing is 2 consecutive life sentences. Hopefully, he will never have the opportunity to be free to harm another woman, someone that may be vulnerable. And maybe next time they won't be able to get away. I'm trying not to use that word, unalive. Maybe they won't be. And this is not just in this case, but we have to reflect everything to the community. These are serial R's and serial murderers. Okay? They're not going to stop. It is a compulsion, and unfortunately, most people are not rehabilitated. Most people, they reoffend and they return back to prison. And that's why I'm pointing to maybe next time these victims will not even be left alive. And not just in this case, but in other instances where you have serial behavior. Okay. So thank you for spending this time with me. I really, really appreciate it. I want to let you know that I do want to do a video on Idaho 4, but I can't do a quick one. It may be 45 minutes to over an hour, and I just don't have the time right now. I am looking at 2 things, the bloody glove and also the blood on the banister. And my main question in the Idaho 4 murders is, why wasn't that treated like normal evidence? Why wasn't it collected? And why wasn't it tested? Not just comparing it to how the alleged knife sheath was handled. What about these other 2 known pieces of evidence? Was it the victim's blood or was it some unknown person's blood? Was the DNA tested at all? Was it male DNA? Was it female DNA? What was done? What was gathered? What was collected? What was processed? Was any suspects identified from those two sources? Those are two blood sources. And what I'm going to tell you is whenever there is a stabbing, not only were these victims brutally attacked, mercilessly stabbed, allegedly Kaylee over 50 stabbings, that attacker or attackers may have been injured also. And that blood on the handrail, allegedly, and the bloody glove, allegedly, may be blood from the attacker. And that is why I want to know what happened to these two pieces of evidence from what I have heard in court. Okay. So I'm reviewing a law and crime video right now about some of the evidence and some of the proceedings in the prosecution of Brian Kohlberger. And I do have an article, so I'm going to put all of that together, but the video cannot be a quick one. It's going to be about 45 minutes or over an hour. So that is to come soon. So again, thank you for spending this time with me. Please remember, stay smart, stay safe, stay savvy, be well, all my friends. Have a beautiful evening. Bye, everybody. Bye.